Welcome back, my horde, to an episode where we're going to be talking about Chris. Because it's Chris's birthday. Yay, Chris's birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
He's super old now.
Yeah, he's like, what was it? A couple billion years old. He used to have a pet dinosaur.
Yeah, keep in mind, we're not exactly that much younger, though.
No. He's billions of years old. He had a pet dinosaur. I have been around during the modern ages.
Uh-huh. So, in other words, you were just around when they learned how to make fire.
No, I was. That's a little bit later. I think the running joke was the fact that I'm a Frenchman who moved to Mexico during the exploration of America.
Yeah, you look kind of young for that.
Well,
Anyway.
to be fair, I've looked this way for about 15 years now, so I'm aging quite nicely. But no, there was a running joke in high school where it was stated that I was the son. My one friend came up with the joke, but that I was the son of Patrick Stewart and Eddie Guerrero, and my mom. And how it happened is that Patrick Stewart had sex with my mom, and when he was finished, Eddie Guerrero jumped in there. He lied, he cheated, he stole.
Okay, I have no idea who the hell this Eddie Guerrero is.
Eddie Guerrero is a very
Patrick Stewart, the name sounds familiar, but I'd have to look up image. To
First,
figure out who the hell he is.
you're gonna kick yourself when you know who Patrick Stewart is. First, Eddie Guerrero is a wrestler who passed away to a heart attack due to drug complications, where he was clean for many years, but it came back to haunt him.
Yeah, I know some drugs can stick around in people's systems for decades.
And he's of Mexican descent. And he's actually one of the first Mexican wrestlers to move to America and perform their style of wrestling inside a large group, like, televised events. He wasn't quite a luchador. Like, in Mexico, you're still taught a lot of that stuff, but he was actually a bigger guy. So, like, he knew how to do some of the luchador stuff, but he was actually more towards, like, the more aggressive style of it. But yeah, him and Rey Mysterio had a match. Rey Mysterio is a masked wrestler, who is completely based off that stuff, which is one of Tammy's favorite wrestlers. And they had a really good match, which made the luchador wrestling and all that stuff really popular in wrestling, mostly WCW at the time. Patrick Stewart is Jean-Luc Picard.
What? Why the hell did I remember that? Oh my god!
I know when you're like, I don't know who he is. I'm like,
I knew the name. The brain just wasn't firing on all cylinders and wouldn't bring up the image, and then it's just like, as soon as you're making the comment, it's going to be something stupid that I should have known.
Yeah. No, back in high school, I used to have just a mustache. No beard or anything, just this, like, mustache, which looked similar to Eddie Guerrero's mustache. So my friend kind of made that joke. And then I guess there was something else that was involved in where I looked kind of like Patrick Stewart to him. So that was the running joke. The other one was the concept of, going back to Chris's joke. I can't remember why I said something about him being old. Like, old as dinosaurs coming, yeah.
Hey, teenagers, we do
no, this is when I was like 25. I told him that he looked like he was... we were making a joke about how old his dad was and how old he was and stuff like that, and I just brought up the fact that he was as old as, like, the dinosaurs and stuff like that. Like, did you have a pet dinosaur, Chris? He's like, too soon, man, too soon. And that's his running joke with me. Every time we bring up a pet dinosaur, he looks at me and goes, too soon, man, too soon.
Yeah.
And then he says another name for a dinosaur. Like, So,
poor Stego went too soon. Damn asteroid didn't help much either.
So yeah, again, seeing how this is a podcast about Chris, those stories do make sense. So I think I've known Chris for I've got to say about 15 years, a little bit less, I think, but about 15 years. Because I moved out of my parents' place and into the apartment right below him. And it wasn't until me and Tammy started dating. Oh my god. Me and his friendship were actually just a couple, like maybe about 6 months shorter than me and Tammy's relationship.
So you're cheating on Tammy with him?
No, he's not cute enough to cheat on Tammy with.
At least you have standards.
Okay, that was
Evidently,
me.
gender's not part of that standard, though.
That was me. I was just saying he wasn't cute enough to cheat on Tammy with. I wasn't saying he wasn't good looking or he wasn't like, anything like that. I was just saying that he was not good enough to cheat on Tammy.
The panda standard.
No, I've known Chris, it's got to be since about 2000, 2001. Because I met him. I don't think I knew him during high school. I think I met him after high school. Probably the summer I graduated from high school.
Yeah?
Yeah, because him and... I met him through Ken. Ken I kind of knew in high school. No, I met Ken through some other friends because I was really into Magic the Gathering at that time. And it's amazing how much my gaming and everything else like this is linked and developed my friend circle.
Yeah. No, I know that. Now, normally, as you can tell, we actually, he said a name. We normally don't say names. But because the fact that we're talking all positives here, we're okay with dropping names because it's going to be all positives here. There's no negatives.
The fact we're going so far back in memory hill that trying to delete names doesn't work very well.
It's easy for me. But no, I met you at Chris's place.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to be running a campaign. I don't know if actually I first came when you were running, or if I first came when someone else was running.
I think the first time I met you was when Sarah was playtesting her system. Or Erin when she was... Oh my...
No, it would not have been then. It definitely was either when someone else was jamming, and I know who, I just don't want to say the name because we've talked about the story before, but either when he was jamming or when you were jamming GURPS.
It's a valid possibility. Because
I know that it was either during a D&D campaign where someone else would run it, or that. Because I know that Aaron's systems didn't happen until much later. Because those didn't happen until they moved to roughly where they are now.
In the same area.
They never did that in the apartments.
You may have been involved, but I don't think I really registered it then.
No, we weren't like hardcore friends. Like we didn't become friends until more recently, to be fair, because the concept that we've been talking a lot more online, we've been talking a lot more here, we've been talking a lot more during gaming.
Yeah.
Until those points in time, we never did a lot.
Yeah, we never really interacted.
I was so upset when you guys were playtesting her system because I wanted to play. But because the concept of the schedule and not being able to get there and stuff like that, I couldn't actually participate. But I remember walking in at one point because me and Chris were going to go next door to his dad's to, well, I guess it wasn't next door at the time, but still, we were going to go to his dad's to watch a pay-per-view for wrestling. And I stood there for like maybe about 10 minutes or so. And after 10 minutes, I was like, yep, I'm pissed off that I am not part of this. Because I love gaming. That was all it is.
No, that system... that system had problems, but it was ever so much fun that you didn't really care about the problems.
Yeah. Well, me, Tammy, and Chris actually did a playtest at one point. but it was the concept that the way that we had built our characters and stuff like that had leaned us to a certain path that didn't really work with what she wanted it to go. So, and I remember actually even playtesting the original system to that, in which I made a character and a backstory for my character and a whole list of things for my character that Aaron just went, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, and just let me do it. Which was a goblin who had a pet rock who was actually a living being that could actually talk to him telepathically that knew stuff about another dimension in which neither one of them were originally from. Which Chris's character was from.
For us, for that particular playtesting, is we were playing on... Literally, we were playtesting on a world where we weren't dealing with any of that.
No, it's fine.
It's literally where we thought we were the only
again,
colony, and we went from there. And oh my god, did we abuse the ever-loving crap out of that thing.
No, like I said, the one that I did was that. The other one I did with Tammy, Chris, and of course myself, was where we were traveling from planet to planet. And then a third one that I did with just Chris and I went off the rails hard.
Yeah, that has a tendency to happen.
Like, it was because she had something planned for us, but when it happened, it was like we black out and we wake up 10 years later kind of idea, with no knowledge of the past 10 years. And it was just this abrupt thing that happened that me and Chris were a little unsure of what we were doing anymore. And I guess, I think it was at the beginning of certain things. And I also know that Chris does have a tendency where... Yes, Nico, I'm sorry that I touched your tail, but you flicked it into me. Anyway, Chris has a tendency where, over the years, he does lose interest in gaming quickly. So
I think that's more... Honestly, I think that's more just simply because he gets tired.
Again, I'm not even going to question on why he does it. It's happened for a long period of time. He gets bored of a system. It could be because he just doesn't know where he's going to go with his character. Or it could be that, he's getting ADHD. Where, But so I'm not even going to question that at all. That's not even going to be a thing. But, no, I remember when, after the role-playing upstairs and stuff like that, and we started actually hanging out with Chris on a regular basis, I remember a bunch of times when Tammy would work until about 2, 3 in the morning, some kind of idea like that, and I'd be at his place, but he would go to bed around, 1. So, I didn't have a spare key to my place, because at the point in time, what was happening was the fact that my roommate refused to let our landlord know that Tammy was living with us, because she was afraid that the landlord would increase the rent. So, because of that, Tammy would have the spare key, so she didn't have to text me to go, hey, can you let me in every single time, so she could just go in the house. So, what would basically happen is the fact that I would sit at his place while he's asleep, play a game or whatever, or play on my computer or whatever the frick I was doing. And then after I was done, I would, when Tammy got home, she would tap on the door, kind of knock, but not really knock. And I would go over, I would grab all my stuff, pack it all up, go with the key he gave me. I would leave that place, lock the door, and slide the key under the door, and walk away. I remember doing that a lot.
That was when he was living over there, wasn't it?
Theoretically that way, but yes, the apartments.
Thereabouts, yeah. No, that actually would be not too long after I had met him. About a year or two afterwards.
Yeah, that's when I first met you, and that's when I re-met the mutual friend,
the goblin.
Yeah.
He doesn't like being called that, but
no.
By the same factor is, it fits him so well.
I think the reason for it is the fact that at some point he believed it was meant as a mean thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because he thought it's meant as a mean thing, he no longer wants it to be Totem. But it's, the concept is just a nickname.
Yep.
And
But,
considering
hell, people call me Potato.
Yeah, I know I've never, but that's...
It used to annoy me and piss me off, but doesn't anymore because I realized they're not using it malicious.
Yeah.
Not to
Like,
mention potatoes are amazing.
Oh yeah, of course. We make French fries and we make vodka. What's the hell's the problem with that?
Mashed potatoes, twice baked,
Stew.
Hash browns.
hash browns. Oh yes, all the good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All these other vegetables need to get up on a new level.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, But, like I said, that's when I really started hanging out with him. I remember at one point laying on his floor while Tammy and him watched Bleach. Which is an anime, if you didn't know. Anybody.
Yeah.
And because it's subtitled, I have a problem reading to begin with. So I'm always trying to keep up. But this one arc was just so much talking, and so much talking, and so much talking. And I think we'd watch like 2 or 3 episodes, or maybe even more, in which there was so much talking, but no information was important to me.
Sounds like the Bounto arc.
It was.
And I laid on the floor.
That was the arc that killed my interest in that anime.
And I laid on the floor, stared at nothingness, and went, when something interesting happens, tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the arc that completely and utterly killed my interest in that anime. Couldn't watch it after that.
The only problem I had with that anime was the ending. Because I know that the manga goes on for another 2 or 3 stories. And the anime just stopped before those 2, 3 stories actually even finished. So it kind of sucked. Me personally, I think that what they were originally going to do, they may not do it anymore, but I think what they originally were going to do was wait until the manga was finished and then continue the anime.
Yeah, because they were having issues.
Yeah.
I know that they were having some issues where at points the anime was getting ahead of the manga.
Yep. And that's why usually there's an arc.
And then which caused the arcs, but then the arcs caused issues for the mangas, and it was a big old... They've dealt with that before on several different instances with different things. But it's... With Chris, I've had far too many good interactions. I legitimately, I can't think of the number of times that if I've needed help, and even if it's just a chat, he's been chatting with me. I mean, hell, even nowadays, I'm at work, I'm pissed off about something, and we're just hammering texts back and forth, reinforcing each other's sanities and dealing with customers.
Yeah. See, I'm hoping that one of the things is, because I stream every night except for Sunday, I'm kind of hoping that you guys kind of make my chat kind of that area to some degree. Make that area so I can join in.
Yeah, the downside with for me at least.
Mm-hmm. No, I know.
Like on my phone, because where I'm working and everything else is, I can't have video on my phone.
Yeah.
So I can watch the stream, but it's the bit rate I get is
that's fine.
It's not even funny. But it's the simple factor of I need to be able to leave a conversation at a drop of a hat.
I'm actually also okay with that. To be fair, like when you guys have been talking to me, and you guys have just disappeared. I've had to tell Chris something 3 times once because he got busy after asking me the question. Like he's like, so what's that you're doing there? And I explained to him, and he never got back to me. So like, whatever, I'll continue. And then he's like, sorry about that, got busy. What'd you say? And I replied again, and then he's like, yeah, I didn't catch that again. Sorry. I'm like, that's fine. Like,
yeah,
it happens.
At that point in time, just chuck it in the chat.
I could, but
Yeah, no,
it's also sometimes it's the explanation that actually needs to be like
sometimes
spoken.
it needs a visual
Oh yeah, there's that too. Because he asked once something about the skill tree in the new game, and I literally started showing him the skill tree, and then I was like, I'm reading Tammy's chat. Chris, yeah. You're gonna have to come to my stream to see it. He's like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things that throws everything off.
But, I remember, when they moved out of the apartment, that was a freaking nightmare for me. Because I was one of the very few people that actually was moving everything. Because it was me, him, his wife, and his wife's family. But the problem was is that I think Chris had injured himself.
I think roughly that era. I think that was roughly when he had to have his shoulder surgery.
I don't think it was shoulder surgery. I could be wrong. I can't remember if it was the shoulder surgery or not. But I know that he couldn't really move a lot because I think he had injured himself or something.
It could have been when he fractured his foot.
Yeah, could have been when he fractured his foot. Not broke it, actually fractured. Which I remember having a discussion with him about at one point because he said, I have a break in my foot. I'm like, you don't have a cast on? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's not broken, man. And he's like, talking to me about it. He's like, the bone is fractured. I'm like, fractured? Yes, not broke yet. Now, yeah, keep the fuck off of it so you don't break it. But theoretically, the bone is got a break in it, but it's not broken. It's still one piece. He's like, okay, I see where you're going with this. Okay.
Yeah.
But, they had not fully finished a lot of the packing because they weren't sure exactly, like, there wasn't enough space to put down boxes and move things and stuff like that. So it was a lot of last minute packing as well. So his wife was doing a lot of last minute packing. So was his wife's sister and mother. So like I would bring down, I think I was bringing down 2 to 3 boxes to every one box that her brother would bring down. And it was on the 3rd floor of an apartment.
With no elevator.
So by the end of it, my legs were just freaking sore. When we got to the new place, I looked at them and went, there's no stairs here, right? And then like, this is when still, Aaron, his wife, was still trying to, like, didn't really know, like there's still a bunch of points in time when, I was hanging out with Chris on a regular basis and he got when I'm making a joke, when I'm being serious, and stuff like that. And she still sometimes has problems with that, which is fine. But at one point during that, I was like, there's no stairs here, right? And then they're like, oh, they're just the front stairs. I'm like, there better just be the front stairs. Like, I'm serious. And we're unpacking stuff, and there's stairs to go upstairs. And as there's stairs going upstairs, I look at it, and his wife's standing at the front door, basically telling everyone where the items are supposed to go. She went, that's upstairs. I went, dropped it. I didn't drop it. I placed it at the front of the stairs. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Not a chance. I told you guys I'm done with stairs today. Like, there is not a chance you're getting me to go up them. I also remember at that new place a bit in, he got a deep freeze. Or a washer and dryer. Maybe it was the washer and dryer.
I don't remember.
But it was something big like that. And his dad had brought it there. And his dad's like talking about how to actually put it in. Do it they're having a discussion, those two. Him and his dad, about how to get it around this tight ass corner. And I'm trying to like I'm sitting on the other side going, let's just do it. Like, let's not have a discussion about it, let's just do it. And Chris is like, yeah, no, I agree with you, man, but, Dad wants to have the discussion. And Tammy's there, and I'm like, look at Tammy, I'm like, get on the other side, let's just do this. Tammy's like, yeah, okay. And then we just lifted it and manhandled it into the basement. And I remember when we were doing that, it was, I think, the first time that Chris's dad had seen how strong Tammy is. And because Tammy's, short and stocky. And a lot of people think that she's, more like towards the idea of, short and fat. Versus the concept that she's just compact.
No, she's like a panda.
Yeah.
They look all cute and cuddly until they hug you to death.
Death.
But no, like, Tammy's always had that problem where, like, over the years, even still, she'll be helping people move stuff, and people are like, "Oh, well, you're a girl, you're big, so you must be, like a lot of girls that are big are weak, and like stuff like that." And Tammy's just like, moved.
Yeah.
What was that? 200 pounds? That's okay.
Like, every time I help someone move, they're like, "Oh, pack it so that we can lift it." I'm like, I'm the one that's packing it to your vehicle, then from the vehicle to your house. From there, you unpack it as you wish. We are moving at my pace or none at all.
But I remember with that, like at one point, his dad was moving, and he had these big giant rocks he wanted moved. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I just grabbed the rock and moved it. And he's like, well, as I'm like moving, like shimming the rock to the edge of the truck bed. So I think we had to move it onto the truck, like from the truck to the ground. And as I'm moving the rock, his dad's like, "You guys have to do that together. Be careful. You don't hurt your back. Blah 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 blah." I'm like, yep. He went around the corner. I looked at Chris. I'm like, "Move." He just grabbed the freaking rock and moved it. And Chris is like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, no,
I'm like, it's a 100-pound rock. I get it. It's heavy.
It's not so much the weight at times that causes the
The
issue.
awkwardness.
It's the shape and form and how awkward it is.
Yeah. No, I know. And with that one, I could understand like it being awkward, but at the exact same time, I was just like grabbed and moved.
I have a lap full of kids, so.
But I remember at one point, Chris and I were spending a lot of time watching his dad's house. His dad went out of town.
Probably one of the numerous times he's done so.
Numerous, yes. But yeah, he went out of town, and basically Chris is like, "Well, I don't have internet at home right now. And my dad has internet. And I have to watch his house for a few hours each day." I did quotations there. Because, I think his dad wanted him to stay the night there. And Chris is like, "Yeah, maybe." Chris is like, "No, I'm gonna go there in the afternoon. I'll hang out there until, midnight-ish, and then I'm gonna go home."
Sure.
But there's lots of times when that was happening where he would just like grab me because Tammy would be working. And then we would just go there together and we'd be playing like different games but together. Like the same game. It was like
co-op game, like where the multiplayer.
No, there was no co-op. It was like literally single player games that we just played together. We did that a couple times over the years, like Mass Effect. I was playing Mass Effect on his system and he was playing Mass Effect on my system. Because our playstyles were different in that game. And there's an achievement for playing
the opposite way.
Yeah, basically.
Ah, gotcha.
So basically I was playing his my build on his system and he was playing his build on my system. I remember also doing that. I remember going to his house with my TV at one point. Because Tammy, again, it would be one of those times where Tammy would work late nights. So I would just bring my TV and system to his place. And we just basically would play separate games. Like I remember playing, I think, Skyrim at one point, just while he played Skyrim. I remember playing Skyrim, or not, maybe not, it wasn't Skyrim, but it was a different game. I remember playing a game at his place. Well, he downloaded Initial D for me, and I watched Initial D while playing a game. Played the Initial D on his TV while watching.
Yep. Yep.
I remember doing that.
Oh shit! I've the most things that prominently stick out in my mind is sometimes are just cabin fever. I'm just getting cabin fever. I just need to get the hell out of the house or whatever. And random text at like 3 a.m. You want to hit Denny's? And he's like, sure.
Yeah.
And there we go. And we're just sitting there bullshitting. The conversations had absolutely no substance to them whatsoever. But it was fun.
What other? I remember I was living in my mom's basement. This is after the apartment. I basically could not. The way that I got that me and the roommate separated in the apartment, and the fact that Tammy didn't have a proper job at the time, and a bunch of little crappy things like that, all kind of
adds up.
yeah. So, actually, that could have been what actually happened with. Maybe I wasn't downstairs at the time. Maybe it was the fact that I was living in my mom's house. That's why I was staying at his place until 3 a.m. when she got off. And that's why I wouldn't just walk home because it was like blocks away. But nonetheless, I remember. Yeah, no, that makes sense now. Yeah. But anyway, so
It's amazing how information changes as you get older and you start misremembering.
well, I think it was just the fact that I didn't actually pay enough attention when I was thinking about it, and now we're remembering where it would have been.
Bits and pieces are queuing up and going. Wait a minute.
But I remember at one point in my basement, me and him and Tammy were talking, and I was setting up tea light candles in a pyramid while they were all lit. And then they had all created one flame. And I'm like, shit.
It was probably a pyramid of at least 8 to 10 inches tall. Ish.
So I'm like, oh man, that sucks. How do I fix this? So I'm like, okay, well, I think putting water on it is a bad idea. And we're all talking about this.
Wax?
Yeah, because we're all talking about this. I'm like, I think it's a bad idea. They're like, oh, yeah, like. So I went over to the sink and I put a little bit of water on my hand and just flicked it. And yeah, it like lightly kissed the roof kind of idea, like, not, like, because it went whoosh and then that little bit went up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, okay, so that's a bad idea. I'm like, so how do I fix this? And I'm looking around the room, because we were about to leave, because Chris wants to go home. I'm looking around the room, and I see a big tin I have that used to be for, like, popcorn. So I emptied out whatever was in there, and I just went dunk over top.
Let it sit.
Yep.
Let it
lose oxygen and burn itself out. Yep.
Yep.
And luckily, because we were in a basement, it had the concrete flooring. So
that's the only reason I did it was because there was concrete flooring. If there was not concrete flooring, I would have never fucked around with that. But I remember also in the next place, because my mom moved from that place to another place, and I was in the basement again. Not right away. We were actually in one of the rooms upstairs. But my sister and her significant other were downstairs in the basement, and then they had a kerfuffle with my parents, and they moved out, so we moved in the basement. But when we were down there, I remember him and another friend coming over on a regular basis, and we were playing like GURPS and stuff like that, Star Wars, and yeah. I remember when we were down there at one point, we did a campaign where I was GM, and in the campaign, Chris even remembers it still. They went to a planet, and on the planet they got to like this underground facility. Like the planet was like quiet as fuck. And went to this underground society, and there was actually just people down there, and they're like, okay, cool, that's interesting. And then they try to escape, and as they're trying to escape, it would like jump backwards in time, basically stating that at some point they are in a simulation and they can't figure out where they were where they started to get into this, simulation. So like at one point they actually escape the planet and they get to a back home and they're titled as heroes and there's a parade happening and all the stores are closed to have this giant parade and party for them. And they're like, yeah, that's not right. I was just messing with them like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, yep, there's something wrong here.
Yeah. And like the idea is the fact that like I think the reason I started doing that is because one of them died. I think one of them, they had separated in their search, and I think one of them had come across a bunch of guards. They had pissed off the guards, and the guards beat them to death. So instead of having
Why does that fill me with the idea that it was probably one of the goblins that was involved?
No. You do not know this guy.
Okay.
It's just, he thought he could take the guards, but he didn't pay enough attention to what they were wearing as armor. He grabbed a stun gun, he grabbed a stun baton, and he shot the stun gun at the guard, but the guard's armor is actually stun resistant.
Yeah, makes sense. They're
So
guards, and those would be one of the more common weapons that they'd be dealing with.
yes, so because of it being a stun resistant armor, he had no chance of defeating it, because the two weapons he had were stun weapons.
Yeah, wouldn't have helped him in the slightest.
So they beat him up, and yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I've dealt with shit like that before.
I also remember one of the campaigns that we did where Chris was it was a Star Wars campaign. Chris was a Rhodian who would refuse to speak anything but Rhodese. And anything but common. I think that one was Rhodese. He would speak anything. He would speak nothing but Rhodese, and which was amusing as frick, because the fact that people would talk to him and he would reply to them
in Rhodese,
but they couldn't understand him. So
didn't want to dirty his mouth with Galactic Basic.
I think that one was a Duros. But it could have been Rhodese as well. But yeah, that was another one where he just would refuse to speak Galactic Basic. So he'd speak like Heidi's to you and be nice to you and stuff. He also had another one, which again, he made a lot of Rhodians and Duros. Rhodians are the in Star Wars Episode 4. He's Greedo, the one that shot second, where Han killed him in the canteen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that. And a Duros looks like an alien. They have like big dome heads.
Okay, so they look like a Roswell Gray.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you say they look like an alien, the unfortunately what comes to mind is xenomorphs.
Yeah. No. You're right. That's why when you actually were stating that, I was like, yes, the Roswellian alien kind of style. But yeah, they look similar to that. They're really good at piloting. So he made a lot of those that became pilots.
Makes sense. Play with character strengths.
Yeah. Another one that he created. It was a captain of the ship. It was a lizard guy, and he was like pretty cool with it. Like everything was great. And then people were talking about the fact that like I said something about there's no gravity on the ship right now. So anyone that's not wearing like basically grav boots is hitting the ceiling. And then like Chris is like, oh yeah, cool. Like I'm wearing boots. It's fine. I'm like, Chris, you're not wearing boots. He's like, huh? I'm like, read your character description again. He's like, clawed feet. He's like, yeah, I guess I'm not.
Yep.
He goes, I missed that one. I'm like, yeah. No, he also have a tail. He's like, yeah, I missed that too.
Chris has come up with some really good character concepts and designs over the years.
Yeah, Chris says that his biggest problem though is the fact that he just can't think of what to do afterwards. But I think I think what we need to do for Chris is find something somewhere where it has like the quirk system in GURPS, but more detailed, where it like gives you like little things that if A happens, you do B, and I think that would help Chris a lot more. Is the fact that if A happens, you do B, and then having him have a goal set up for himself, in which his character's end goal is to do that. For example, using it all as example, having a paladin who wants to become a dread knight. You know, so he actually has this goal of becoming an evil paladin. You know, so we set the seeds already in there, where like there's that, and then you put like if good aligned person is alone with you, and there's no one else around. A,
gank him.
B, gank him.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
I can understand that and probably help him.
Because
but then again, he's had characters that
where he's come up with his own quirks, and that's the thing. Is the fact that
he's just run the character and he's gotten into it.
Yeah, like I said, that's like I think that we can actually start helping him with honestly for the next little while anyway, because like we can start like talking to him about it and seeing where he wants to go with that idea, because he's going to be out of commission for the next little while anyway, so we're not going to be role playing. So having him do that would be maybe helpful. I know that the other thing is the fact that it's not just him; it's a lot of people that do this. Where, we're not role playing today. Okay, well I no longer give a fuck about role playing for the next 6 days. Oh, we're role playing today? Okay, I will give a fuck about it today.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah, I do that.
Where, like, I've had people where I'm like, hey, we're not playing until, next Monday. I need you guys to think of this, and this. And then you guys all group up, all the people grouped up on Monday. I'm like, so, what does everyone think? They're like, I didn't even think about it. Or some people are like, I thought about it. I still don't have a clue.
That's me. Yeah, no, I'm guilty of that one.
I'm like, man, that sucks. Like, I have plans for because we're playing GURPS on Monday, which we are not taking a break from. I was going to say we are taking a break from, but we're not going to be. We're just going to be having Chris sit on the sidelines. His character will become more of an NPC.
Temporarily.
Yeah, temporarily. And if he comes back and decides he wants to keep that character as an NPC, then he can make a new one.
Yep. Honestly, with the way the campaign's going, Chris's character currently is a poor fit for the campaign. So if he wanted to do a remake and build something
it's not really
different,
a poor fit, to be fair. It's just the fact that Chris, when he made an interesting idea. But he never figured out a personality for the character outside us talking. Like it's based off of security. Unless security happens, he doesn't have much else to do. And it's very much that the issue is the fact that he can't figure out what to do when we're not doing security stuff.
Basically, if it's not combat, he's not getting involved.
But that's the thing is like my character was not meant for half the stuff that I'm like, you know what? We're doing this? Sure.
Screw it, we're doing it live!
Like, the fact that, like, with my character, I was like, oh, we're having an anomaly happen? Well, I can't actually help you guys at all with this anomaly problem. However, this is what I suggest. And with my intelligence being as high, it makes sense for the character to, have inputs. But yeah, even with that character, like I have a goal now for that character. I've had the goal for a little while now, but I have a goal.
Yeah, no, it's as I said, if he wants to keep that character as an NPC, the perfectly fine. I'd let him turn around and build a new character easy enough, no penalties. But if he wants to go back to it, he can.
Yep. No, the other thing is the fact that if he does make a new character, or even does this one, I think, us maybe trying to help him figure out quirks that he can then work with it and an end goal. Like, I have an end goal. I know that no one else, I think, has an end goal for their character, so I can understand that it's really a hard problem, too, with all role playing, is that you can have an end goal, but then you don't have, like, if the campaign goes left, your end goal is now screwed.
I've dealt with that. That was actually the same campaign where Chris's cop was. It was NS. We were playing under one of our other friends, Bunny. And Chris, literally, his character walked out and he was trying to infiltrate the organization as a spy. And unfortunately, one of the other players was there, heard it, and it was like, no, this is a betrayal. Didn't know he was trying to go for a spy, and just stood up and killed Chris's character. And Chris was not mad about it, because he literally was like, yep, I can see exactly where you're coming from and everything else like this, and he would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was, in that one, my character had a goal, but it's, anyone who actually knows me knows I'm obsessed with mechs. And that's one of the things I wanted to build. And the DM was of the opinion that, no, I couldn't have mechs. So while I couldn't have mechs, other players could have, like, power armor with artificial intelligences on them, which is far more difficult to build than a mech.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have my mech.
Yeah.
Like, piss off. It pissed me off for that character.
Yeah. I understand that. So it's like, having small term goals also is really useful. Like, like, I do have small term goals for this character and then large term goals. So I actually was going through and figuring out what spells I wanted to have. What spells theoretically I think I should have before I can move on. I was like, okay, this makes sense. And then, yeah.
One of the...
But it's also really hard to do, like, like D&D is a better example of making it easier. Because in D&D, you go, okay, well, my short-term goal is this prestige class.
Yeah.
My long-term goal is this.
Yeah, but the when it came down to it for your campaign is a simple factor of, I know one of the things that I was having difficulty with, and I know Chris was having difficulty with as well, is we're not used to dealing with characters over like level 30 as pushing it.
Yeah, I know.
So when we got to level 100, we're trying to figure this shit out. We're like, oh.
Well, I know that there was a lot of problems with that one. Also, with the concept that because we were gaming so infrequently, and also
that was during the height of Corona and screwing things up.
Well, even before that, but yeah, we were like, Chris was taking breaks occasionally because, he wasn't feeling good or whatever,
or he had to work.
Yeah. So there was that. And then on top of that, we were gaming, like, because we weren't seeing each other for so long, we'd show up, like, there'd be, like, an hour or two that we weren't even freaking doing something. And also, at certain parts of that, we were also not grouping up until an hour later than we normally do now.
Yeah.
So all those...
The hour earlier was, like, okay, we need to be able to game a little bit longer.
Well, it was also
making sure I'm getting up earlier so we can get
Well, Chris was going to Taekwondo.
Yeah.
But then now that Taekwondo is obviously closed due to the virus, he's not doing it right now.
Damn, bastard virus has already had a year-long birthday.
So because of all that, he we just weren't gaming as much, and whenever we did group up, I was trying to fast track you guys. But like, because I remember at one point, one of the things I did, which I think I did over like a 3-day thing, I was actually wanting to do over like a 3-month thing. But because like it was,
Yeah, the portals.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had planned this thing where it was going to be 3 months of you guys doing stuff.
But COVID came in, and
Yep. And then
it came in like a wrecking ball.
And then this happened, and then this happened, and there was a couple other things too, where I jumped you guys ahead of time because, again, I was going to do it over like a whole session where we just basically did nothing pretty much. It was going to be a lot of like, this is your life. Like I think one of them was supposed to be like, you guys cleared out entire ship of zombies, and it was literally going to be one entire session where you guys just killed countless amount of zombies. But then we didn't play for 2 weeks.
You were trying to keep us caught up and started skipping some of that. Yeah. No, I've had characters where literally, especially when I was playing Living Greyhawk, where it was literally I'm not paying attention to what's going on. It's let me know when combat happens.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Chris right now is running 5th edition, which is going to be on hold.
Without me and Tammy. Just for the record.
Which is going to be on hold. Well, our last session, we fought one creature.
Yeah.
And that was at the end of the session. And that's because like we kept getting invites for various different things. And here we are, we're having arguments back and forth because we're trying to figure out where to go and everything else like this. And Ken's trying to get us to go and do his, and I'm supposed to act like a bodyguard for him because he's noble and everything else like this. And I'm looking at him going, and what's my pay?
Yeah.
And we just started an argument there, and we were all relatively in character. It was just fun. We didn't really do much. We didn't really progress storyline wise, but we did.
See, one of the things I kind of wish, like for role playing, because like I said, I'm very adamant about role play. Is the fact that when you're starting to get into that, where like you and Ken are having the discussion, 2 other people are having a discussion, someone else is having a discussion with someone else, right? Because you guys are all in different areas. It would be kind of cool if like you guys could just like separate from the table.
At that point in time, we were all standing around at the same spot.
Oh, I just mean like if you guys could separate at the table, and then basically as you guys are arguing or discussing or whatever the frick everyone's doing, having you actually record your voices for the GM for later, so the GM can like mark down what has actually happened and stuff like that. So like for example, like if he has,
that would be a lot of effort.
It would be. I'm not arguing that, but for certain things it would be interesting. Like people are spying on you guys, so now the GM knows what you guys are doing, stuff like that. But easier to have those discussions.
I think with the current status of gaming,
no,
for like not for us, but like where everybody's doing it over like Discord and stuff like this, something like that would be far, far, far more effective.
Again,
and far easier to set up.
But again, the other thing that I was thinking about when I've always thought about that was I want to do something that is far beyond capable, because it needs a bunch of people who really have nothing to do with their day. But basically the idea is the fact that
in other words, we all need to be rich because then we don't have to work.
Yeah, pretty much. Or go to a Star Trek economy. Because, they don't actually get paid.
They do.
No.
All basics, from my understanding, all basics are free and everything else like this.
Yep.
But it's like, if, say, you author a holo novel,
yep,
anytime somebody uses that holo novel, you get a little bit extra credit type deal.
I don't think you do,
and
but
it's from there, you're able to get whatever you want.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure from what I understand, because again, maybe I'm wrong, but from what I understand, they don't have currency at all. You work because the content that you want to work.
I think you're also adding in Orville. Because that's...
No, that's... also, that one actually does state in Orville, it actually does state. Oops, sorry for that. It does state that you actually work there to get better housing. So, like, basically in Orville, you work and then you get a reputation, basically, and you use your reputation to get things above your pay grade. So, for example, like, if I want a bigger house, I have to have a reputation of 10, and they'll give me any house that is theoretically a reputation of 10. But I think in Star Trek, it's like all like food, housing, and most accommodations are free because it's generally thought of that everyone should have it. They're the basics of life now. Like, that's where, like, us, it's
really it is from Star Trek going on is that little piece of background information is that I know of one of the hotly debated things as to how it's done. Some people say that there is because it's gold pressed latinum. You've seen it in the series being traded. Well, that has a value. The latinum itself can't be replicated.
I think the concept is that with that, like, there are certain things that cannot be replicated, and that's where I think the Federation trades in barters in goods. They're more into a barter and goods system, where, like, the Ferengi deal with, like, actual money, but because they actually use the money on their society, so they're still using money. But, like, humans, I think, because I know that, like, a thing on our planet is the fact that most governments are trying to state that internet is now a important thing that everyone needs.
Yeah, nowadays it's a necessity.
So if you're, like, looking for, like, funding for, like, welfare, basically, kind of a deal, or the government, American government equivalent, I can't remember what it's actually called right now.
Social Security?
No, it's food stamps, basically.
I think it's still called welfare.
Is it still called welfare? Okay, but they give you food stamps where in Canada they actually give you money for it, and then sometimes they'll just pay it straight out. Like, I know that if you have rent, they'll just pay your landlord. They bypass you and just pay straight your landlord.
Yeah, it's because they don't want people using it as extra income.
So, because of certain things like that, I think internet in certain places are trying to be classified as essential. So you actually, they will pay for it.
It's now on the terms of phone.
Yeah.
You have to have a phone. Nowadays, you realistically speaking, you have to have the internet.
Yeah.
Because
especially with COVID.
That's where you find jobs.
Yeah, not even just that, but it's also
you apply for everything.
COVID being the way it is, your kids need it for school.
Yep.
But anyway, if I had a group of people I could do it with, it would be like concept like, you and Tammy on Wednesdays, you two roleplay your characters. You guys go off to an adventure or do whatever, and we make sure it ends that day. So that when everyone groups up at the beginning of the week, let's say Monday, every Monday we all group up. You guys have stories, and you guys have money, and you guys have gear, and you guys have contacts, and you guys have information that no one else has, but everyone has that.
Yeah. We're in the 5th ed, we're actually dealing with contacts, which is something that's been interesting for me to deal with, because I haven't really paid attention to that much, even in normal games.
Yeah. Well, I try to do it sometimes with that, but the problem is that, like, a lot of people go with the idea that if it's not an immediate party member, I don't care. A lot of people do it.
I'm not knocking that. I think with me, especially in D&D wise, is because I'm not really playing casters. It's always been a factor of such and such a person is that way. Well, if I sent them a message now, it would take them 6 weeks to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm dead.
Yeah.
So what's the point? I'm just going to work on killing that thing, which is trying to eat me.
Which is the idea that I had when I was actually creating it, was you guys were on a turtle. A giant turtle in the middle of a planet that's completely ocean that has no land besides the turtle.
Sounds like the game The Raft, except even worse.
And the idea behind it is that this turtle, as it grows, your society grows. But you guys have portals that actually could bring you to different dimensions and realms. For resources and a lot of other things. And some of them are fixed locations, and some of them spinning a roulette wheel.
Anytime you walk through, you could be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the things I'd love to do if I had the money is set up a big ass room.
Yeah.
Computers, decked out computers, projector under the table
Yeah.
so I could project the maps and everything else. And everybody that came into gaming, they'd have their own computer system.
Yeah.
It would have their characters on it, all the reference books and all this sort of stuff. So they didn't have to try to remember anything. They didn't have to try to bring anything. Everything was already there.
I had thought about that too when I was...
But I was thinking about it, and I'm going like, yeah, that's going to take at least probably about $10,000 to do it the way I want.
Yeah. I was also thinking about the concept that Chris was commenting about the fact that if he ever won the lottery, he would invest money in me by renting out a place around town in which basically we could start doing stuff like streaming on a regular basis and stuff like that. And the idea would be the fact that we would all go there, and basically because he was a lottery winner and had so much money that literally you and Tammy and him could just quit your guys' jobs, and he would pay you guys to work for me.
I would have no fucking problem with that. Oh, you're going to pay me to sit on my ass and play games for 8 hours?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with my off time now? I mean, come on.
Well,
realistically speaking, like,
yeah,
if I'd won the Lotto Max or something like that, I probably would have done the same damn thing.
But then the other thing would be like, then we have a room that's dedicated for podcasts.
We have one set up for the podcast. Have one set up for our D&D or gaming sessions.
Yep.
Have one set up for this, that, or the other thing. Because
But yeah, you have that, and then you have it where you have the computers there, stuff like that, and then each person has a set role. For example, if we play Fallout 76, using as an example, once a week for the channel, which by the way, we'd have the probably have the channel, and then we'd have you guys all having channels separate, where basically you're going with the concept that 76, we need materials for ammo. So on this day, basically you're sitting there recording yourself, getting all the stuff for it. We get it edited down where you basically, cut out the loading screens, cut out the parts where you're not talking, stuff like that. And basically you're just showing people, these are the locations where I get led.
I actually did that. That was actually my last stream for 76 before we went and did that.
And then you put that on your channel. Basically, so it's not there, but you can get views on it. It can still be, done. But then it's, not clustering.
The main channel is for the stuff that we do when we're grouped up with. Yeah. We've gotten badly off topic, but it's still an interesting conversation.
Well, that's we're also an hour in. This is probably one of the longest podcasts, so there you go, Chris. You can have the longest podcast in our history, also for your birthday. But that would be the idea, is doing something like that.
You have to watch it. You have to listen to it all, man. No skipping.
I don't think he'll skip.
No, I don't think he.
It would be weird just skipping, and he's like, "What are they talking about now?" and have to skip backwards,
just to completely miss where he was and start out back from the beginning. God damn it! Gets nearer. Oh no! I can skip a couple of seconds. What?
But yeah, just basically doing stuff like that, where some of you have to set things up for whatever we're going to do. For example, Among Us. It's something that we are going to eventually be playing as a group, and setting up doing a couple test runs, where you're basically trying to see
get audio working properly.
Well, not just audio. It's also there's only one game mode, but there's people that have made different game modes inside their heads. For example, one is called Tag. The entire purpose about it is that there's one person that's it. He's a killer. And the idea behind it is he runs around and everyone can see more than he can. Usually it's the reverse way, where he can see up to 1.5 and then he can only see up to 1. But it's a reverse where, they can see more. And he has to chase them down and actually find them. And they're not allowed to report any of the bodies, or they're not allowed to call for a meeting. All they get to do is do their jobs and stay away from him. And to even make it harder for them to do their jobs, he's supposed to put one of the sabotagers on, which sabotages communications. When it sabotages the communications, you can't see what your jobs are. All you get to see is when you get really, really, really close to it, you get to see a red outline.
Or the yellow outline,
Yeah,
which usually happens.
It's a yellow outline, okay. But yeah, you get to see the yellow outline. So literally, you have to run around while avoiding him, and you can, again, see him just slightly. And yeah, that's the whole game mode.
If I hide in this corner, did he see me?
Yeah.
He just walks, skip by. No, he didn't. I gotta go do this task. Walks back, goes up, kills him.
But yeah, like I said, so there's that. There's also like TTT, where someone could be just testing out the map, making sure the map is okay before we actually do a stream on,
Oh, well, for that I know of, for Among Us, there's only like 3 or 4 maps.
There's 3. But it's not the... with Among Us, it was just mostly to see, will this work? As you're running around and the person's doing it, do I need to, is the distance I can see him, is that going to screw me up? Or do we have to adjust it?
Just doing test runs.
Yeah. Well, we're not recording.
The standard stuff. Yeah.
Where, with TTT, it's also the concept,
I actually can't wait, because we're talking about maps and everything else for the new prison that's coming out for Phasmophobia.
And that's the other thing, is, doing stuff where, we're checking out things like that.
We really ought to play that again one day.
Yeah. It's just the concept that when last time I played it, with it glitching the way it did and stuff like that, it really upset me, and I can't record it while streaming. It looks like, and I don't know, that just upsets me, because I really want to record it, stream it, or record it. I guess is my only other option. I can't stream it. So while we were playing on Halloween, you guys were all streaming it, and I couldn't. And I'm like, well, this sucks, So, it's one of those things where,
you just need a streaming you need...
Yeah.
Well,
I definitely need another PC.
Yeah. I believe that this one is Koshka?
Yes.
Yes. That one's Koshka, the other one is Pumpkin.
Okay.
But, no, one of the things, Tammy's mom gave us a husk of a computer. So, I'm not sure if I want to, start just trying to slowly upgrade that, or just say F it, straight up F it, and wait until, like I said, 2022, the end of 2022. So basically the beginning of 2023. And I should be able to buy myself a new computer.
Well, realistically, how much money are you planning on sinking into a computer?
A shit ton.
So you're planning on getting custom built?
Either custom built, or buying a pre-built gaming computer.
No.
I'm just saying. Remembering the difference of pricing.
The reason why I say it is because the pre-built computers, really, even though they're charging you several $1,000s in stores, are not worth the money.
Again,
you'd have to do upgrades pretty quickly.
When I was looking it up last year, because a bunch of guys were also talking about this. One of the guys that I was watching that was talking about this, who's a very adamant person about buy the parts and make the computer yourself. He was actually stating that right now, buying a pre-built is actually kind of cheaper. Because the fact that the new video cards and stuff like that are coming out, and they're stupidly expensive. So getting certain things like that, because of the concept of again, it could have changed because it was also a point where a lot of people were trying to upgrade hard, and cryptocurrency was a huge thing. And he was saying that because of all that thing, the pre-builts are actually cheaper because the concept that a couple parts that you have to get, because they're used for this system, which now is like the cryptocurrency and streaming and this and that, those pieces are now being jacked up in price that I pre-built. They're already installed.
Yeah. No,
and cheaper.
I don't knock that.
So that's where I have to actually see.
What I would.
Again, I would still have to look into it.
Like, if you're planning on doing a system just to, like, record your...
No, the one that I'm actually going to be getting would be the gaming computer.
Okay, so you're going to build you're going to get a system or a high-end system that you're going to play the games on.
Yes.
Okay.
Because this guy can my computer now can barely run the streams. So upgrading, having him playing the games, I'm already at disadvantage. I might as well have him running the streams and not doing the other part. However, in 3 years, which is roughly where this is going to be around, this computer I have now will be out of warranty. So when I get the other computer, I'm also going to buy pieces for this one.
Just top up that one. Top up the RAM.
Top up the RAM. Yep, and
just
upgrade
see what you can upgrade bits and pieces. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
So, like I said, those are the things I actually was going to do as well.
Yeah, like when I built my tower that I've got at home that I'm playing on, it's I didn't pay a lot. I didn't max out the RAM and everything else like this, but it's the CPU, motherboard, and graphics card were the maxed out ones, because those were the expensive ones. So I maxed them out because RAM's cheap.
Yeah.
If I need more memory, I can chuck a new hard drive in easily enough. It's like, whatever. Really ought to do that.
But I know that we were talking about this on stream the other day, and it was the idea that if I start making money on YouTube and if I start making money on Twitch, that's just going to go straight into making the computer, the stuff that I want for my computer, faster and quicker.
Yep. That's all. Like, I've told myself, because when I'm doing the streaming, I'm just testing it right now.
Yeah.
See if I even want to continue it.
Yeah. Well,
I may not.
I want to continue it because of the concept that I'm playing. It's actually made me play games more. Because the concept that before I'd be like, oh, I just don't feel like playing a game tonight. Fuck it, I just won't play a game tonight. I just would watch YouTube and sit here for 8 hours, just watching YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've done that. And pretty much everybody out there has done that. Or it's you go on to Facebook or something like that. Like you're just bored for like 5 minutes. You go on Facebook to flick around for whatever. Then you look at your watch and you're like, why the hell is it saying it's 3 hours later?
Yeah.
What the hell did I use it? Where did that go?
So because of that, it has made me play games more. Like the fact that I'm 9 achievements away, as of recording this, from Assassin's Creed Odyssey being completed.
I think you started at 22?
Yeah, something like that. Like 23, actually. So, that's the thing. And then, the fact that you, Chris, and I play games on a regular basis. The fact that you, Tammy, and I now play games. The fact that Tammy and I now play games on a regular basis kind of is really pushing me towards the idea that this is a good thing for me to just keep doing. And then, I can still do what I did last night, where it's I just gave, I stopped recording around 4 with you, or streaming around 4. Okay, she's being attacked by a ball. She doesn't like it. But, I stopped streaming around 4, and then I sat here for 2 hours and watched YouTube. And then, that's fine.
Yeah, no, you stopped streaming, I stopped streaming, and I wasn't feeling too up. That's why I've got my schedule set, so it's only a 4-hour stream.
Yeah.
It's because then if I'm really not into it,
oddly enough, I have it for 4 hours as well. I'm pretty sure mine's set to 3:30.
Yeah, I've got mine set so that I stream from midnight to 4 a.m.
11:30 to 3:30.
Yeah.
though I always go over.
Yeah, well, it's my concept was is I'm going to do that as the minimum.
Yep.
And if I'm not in the mood, because, hey, everybody's got those days where they just have no interest in anything. But I can stop at that point. If not, well, us playing till 6 a.m. and streaming till 6, 7, 8 a.m. is not exactly uncommon. But I figured I'd wait until December, see how everything's going, as to whether or not I'm going to start chucking money into the stream.
Yeah.
Like picking up a mic like you got and stuff like that.
If you're gonna go mic, the one I have is not good for it.
No. But talking mic as
no.
Getting something that's more sensitive, so I can
keep
my voice slower and controlled.
I'm just saying mine's not good because it actually does pick up everything, where you'd want one of the ones that actually picks up just in front of it. Because then what you do is you place it in front of you, and you just talk directly that way. That way, if you theoretically have someone making noise off to the side, it shouldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
Mine's great for podcasts, even though I'm not using it for podcasts. I usually use it for when Tammy's sitting over there. But yeah, I have to buy Tammy a mic. I have to buy Tammy a capture card, and I have to buy myself a capture card. Because I have one, but it's a shitty one that can't pick up the game audio.
Yeah, it's stuff like that I'll slowly look at it and start working on it. But then again, I've got exactly two things that I stream from. It'd be either my computer, or the Xbox.
Yep.
Well, if I'm doing the Xbox, I can just do the streaming exact. Because I'm not, and then if I want to pull it off and edit it or whatever, I can pull the video off and
the reason
slice it and send it on YouTube.
Reason that I'm thinking about getting a capture card for the two of us is because then what happens is if you're streaming from your Xbox, you can stream it to the capture card and then to your PC. And then from your PC, you can start doing stuff where, like, be right back, or you can do other things like that. Like, I can't figure out how to do raids via my Xbox.
You can't do it on the Xbox itself. I've been going through what I've been doing is I've got the dashboard up.
Okay.
For the Twitch dashboard.
Yeah.
Because even though you're broadcasting from your Xbox...
that's actually what I was actually asking. Hey. Yeah, she's really bad with that. I'm sorry about that.
No, hey, don't worry. It's kitten and claws. It's a simple factor of kitten and claws.
No, I think I was talking to Chris about that. Chris, that.
No, what it is you need to go log into the Twitch itself. Like where you'd be watching it, and go to your creator's dashboard, and then from the creator's dashboard, you've got the option of clip that, raid, quick mod options, because it has one window that says, oh well, here's all the new follows that you've gotten, and then you'll have your chat window, your actual stream, and then you've got various different moderator options. The raid is one of those.
Because I know that you did that last night when you got off. You raided somebody because it was telling me that the chat was going to be moved to someone else. I was like, what? And I was like, interesting. He's raiding someone. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So, but I want Tammy to start doing that as well, because I want Tammy to start doing that when she goes to bed. Throw everyone towards me.
Yep. If it's just like
and the also. We'll talk about this afterwards. But yeah, so we're going to end this podcast here.
Yeah, because we gotten badly off topic.
Well,
it's still
stuff
happy birthday, Chris.
It's still stuff about, like, stuff we're doing with Chris. Like, I would love to roleplay with Chris more often. I would love to play video games with Chris more often. With his scenario that's happening with him now, which we'll explain. Chris,
we'll let him explain.
I think he's already explained it. I think he's already explained it once, but I'm just going to... Chris can go into more details, but Chris has gotten cancer, and it's at the very, very early stages of it, and he's going to be getting chemo, sadly, 2 days before his birthday. However, and it's going to be like 3 months, he was saying, like that?
I think 9 weeks is what I think he was saying.
Yeah, which is a little 2 months and a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, it should stop it all and cure, like not cure him, I guess, just put it into remission, and these
potentially kill it off. But
well, yeah, well, let's hope it kills it off. At the very least, let's just hope that it puts it away and he never has to worry about it for a long fucking time. But yeah, because of that, everything that he's doing has been put on hold. Obviously, chemo's going to freaking
damn straight
mess you up. But he's basically not going to be working for those 9 weeks. And he's like, well, whenever I'm not feeling sick, I'll be online. I'm like, okay, well, we'll play games then. He's like, awesome. That's the only good thing that's coming from this.
Yep. Stream as much as you can.
And then then we're going to be going over to his place on Mondays still, and he's just going to be basically like, well, if I feel up to gaming, well, like role playing, I'll role play. If not, I'll just either lay on the couch and just listen to you guys while I kind of drift off here and there, or I'll be upstairs drifting off and not being able to hear you guys at all. I'm like, yeah. That way we get to hang out with his wife and still play.
Yeah, and it's just like if the combat does get involved and he's feeling up to it but doesn't really want to roleplay, I can chuck him one of the enemies. And here's just play this.
That'd be funny if he just like as the enemy he's like, oh my god, what am I?
And then as the enemy ends up accidentally killing his own character, he's like, oh wait, shit.
It'd be funny if the enemy just like literally kills his own people and like, I surrender, I'm on your side now.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Because I saw that once, like it's one of those things like in role plays and in like video games and stuff like that. Like you have this guy running around who's claimed to be like this legendary fucking hero. You see him, you're like, that's a legendary fucking hero. Let's go kill him. What?
Yeah, hey, just like Skyrim. Oh, you shouldn't have come here. They're charging at you. They've got this dagger, this fur shield, and they're wearing fur armor, and you're walking along dragon scale or dragon plate, and you just look at them and just like, what part of your brain says this is a good idea?
Well, it's like Assassin's Creed, for example. I'm running around in Assassin's Creed. I'm like this legendary hero known as the Eagle Bearer. And I'm like running around. They're like, that's the Eagle Bearer. Get him! Stab. You're dead. And then I kill all of your friends and you're still alive. Why aren't you running?
Yeah.
When I kill all your friends within, your 10 friends in 5 seconds, why are you still here?
Yeah. It's just like, but
it's actually something really cool.
It's the same thing like in Batman.
Yeah,
Batman shows up and the mooks are there. It's looking at, oh, we're gonna fight him. If I was a mook at that point in time, oh, Batman showed up. Okay, just turn around, slowly start walking that way.
Well,
oh, grab that from the boss.
See, the problem with that though is the fact that if you're working for certain people, they hold grudges. Like the Joker,
oh yeah,
would shoot you in the skull.
Yeah, but if you're working for those people in the first place, you've got bigger issues.
But no, in RimWorld, that's a great example of what I would like. In RimWorld, 15 people attack your settlement. If 8 of them die, the other 7 run away.
Yep. If you kill over half of a raiding party, the other half is just like, nope, we don't want to do this, no. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, which just makes sense. It's like, nope, we made mistakes.
Yep, they just turn around, nope, we're leaving.
And they'll try stealing stuff on their way out. Yeah, so I like that.
I've actually had one raid. I've only seen it once. I had one raid, it was 26 people.
Yep.
23 of them got killed within a couple of minutes because of the way I had my defenses.
Yep.
The other 3, they just immediately turned non-hostile, dropped their weapons and armor, and just walked away. And it was just like...
Yeah. No, I've had a couple things like that before too. But, yeah, so... I think that's it. I think that's really where we're going to end this. It's an hour and a half into this, so this is 3 times longer than most of our normal podcasts are supposed to be, almost.
3-parter.
No, it's going to be 1 part. Screw it. Watch it or don't. It'll give Chris something to do.
Yep. Still, get better, man. And happy birthday.
Happy Wednesday, fucker.